Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more Los Angeles Lakers news, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. It's definitely become clear to all Lakers fans that with this squad we won't be able to win another championship. Rob Pelinka will need to be wise enough to sign players who solve all of the Lakers' problems, the biggest one being a star wing who is a scoring machine and a big man to grab a lot of offensive and defensive rebounds. And who would these two players be and how to sign them? The players who would change the course of the Lakers this season will be Zach LaVine and Walker Kessler, and how to sign them will be by making a successful exchange between 3 teams and the Lakers getting rid of 6 players. What would the Lakers look like with Zach LaVine and Walker Kessler? Starting quintet: Austin Reaves, Zach LaVine, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Max Christie. Players on the bench and in the rotation: Walker Kessler, Dalton Netsch, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jackson Hayes, Jared Vanderbilt, and other young players. If the Lakers make this change, they will have everything they need to win another title. Rumors: trade between 3 teams brings 2 stars to the Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers need to make major changes to their roster. As it stands, the Lakers are 20-16 and sitting in the number 6 seed in the Western Conference. They lost to a depleted Dallas Mavericks team Tuesday night 118-97 without Luka Doncic or Kyrie Irving. LA was out-rebounded 44-34 and could only secure 5 offensive rebounds to Dallas 11. A big man is at the top of the wish list of the Lakers, and another star certainly wouldn't hurt to pair with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Using the Spotrac trade machine, here is how a deal could look to satisfy those needs and facilitate a deep Los Angeles playoff run. Lakers receive Zach LaVine and Walker Kessler. Bulls receive Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, Christian Wood, Patty Mills, a 2030 first-round draft pick swap from Lakers, and a 2025 second-round draft pick. Jazz receive Jalen Hood-Schifino, Cam Reddish, protections of 2027 first-round draft pick, 2029 first-round draft pick, and a 2029 second-round draft pick from the Bulls. At a glance, the Lakers finally get their center in Walker Kessler, and even more star power on their roster in Zach LaVine. Kessler is having a career year with 10.4 points per game and 11.3 rebounds per game. Both of these totals are good for the highest average in his 3 NBA seasons and will complement Anthony Davis in the front court. LaVine is averaging 23.1 points per game and shooting 51% from the field. That is exactly the kind of star that not only LeBron will enjoy playing with, but Laker fans will enjoy watching. The Bulls, 17-19, get arguably the best haul in this potential trade: their assets, draft picks, and keeping Nikola Vucevic. Rui Hachimura, a fan favorite in LA, is having a slightly down year with 11.9 points per game on 48% shooting, but cleaning the glass the best he has since the 2020-21 season with 5.1 boards per game. Jared Vanderbilt and Christian Wood, who have yet to play this season, will provide depth to the Bulls roster when they get healthy, and Patty Mills, should Chicago keep him, would be a great veteran locker room presence. Utah, 9-26, are in rebuild mode and will surely benefit from the youth and draft picks they are stocking up on. Jalen Hood-Schifino, only 21 years old, has never really fulfilled the potential the Lakers had for him, but a new team, with far less expectations and pressure, could prove to be the perfect prescription for that. Reddish, 25, is a part of the youth movement in Utah and is only getting 3.4 points per game in 18.4 minutes averaged per contest. Depending on how the Jazz would use him, he can be a valuable rotational piece. LeBron James remains top 3 in latest All-Star voting returns. The second returns for All-Star voting were released and LeBron James is closing in on being the second highest vote getter in the Western Conference. While LeBron James is still a dominant player on the court, his fandom appears to be dwindling ever so slightly. In the first returns on All-Star voting, LeBron James was not the top vote-getter in the West. With his fan base now knowing LeBron was trailing both Denver's Nikola Jokic and Phoenix's Kevin Durant, you might have thought they'd step up and stuff the ballots in favor of the King. However, on Thursday, the NBA released the second returns in All-Star voting and LeBron James is still trailing both players. LeBron has closed the gap between himself and Durant down from 101,138 to just 2,151 votes, but the distance between himself and the Joker has ballooned from 254,460 to 296,194. LeBron has been the top vote-getter in the NBA a record 10 times and did it for 7 consecutive years before the Milwaukee Bucks' Giannis Antetokounmpo took that title from him last season. This year, Giannis is in the lead overall, and with Boston Celtic Jason Tatum also gaining over 2 million votes, LeBron is barely hanging on to a top 5 spot in All-Star voting across the NBA. This season, LeBron's production certainly indicates he has been an All-Star. He is averaging 23.8 points, 7.7 rebounds, and 8.8 assists per game. Even if he remains where he's at, LeBron is a shoo-in for a 21st NBA All-Star appearance and is likely to surpass Durant for the number 2 spot when the next fan voting returns are presented on January 16. The only other Laker to garner a top 10 spot in fan All-Star voting is Anthony Davis. Based on the latest returns, the forward dropped from 4 to 5, with San Antonio Spurs sophomore Victor Wembanyama swapping spots with AD. Despite LeBron having more fans, AD is the best player in Los Angeles. He averages 25.8 points, 11.9 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per game. Another All-Star appearance for Davis would give him 10 in his career and be his third as a Laker. Fans can continue voting once a day until fan voting is over on January 20. To make your vote as impactful as possible, be sure to participate on 341 days, when NBA ID members' votes will count 3 times. We have 2 of these dates happening on Friday, January 17 and Monday, January 20. Voting times are based on the East Coast, taking place from 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on those dates. When the NBA All-Star Game does take place on February 16, it's going to look vastly different from previous iterations. No longer will there be teams picked by the top 2 vote-getters, and gone is the East versus the West matchup. Instead, 4 teams will play each other in a mini-tournament. TNT analysts Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, and Kenny Smith will select 3 teams out of the 24 All-Stars, and the Castro Rising Stars champion from the night before will be the 4th team. The first team to 40 points will be deemed the winner and advance to the final game, which will take place immediately afterward to deem the winner of the All-Star Game. Hopefully, these changes will provide the kind of entertainment fans of the game deserve to see when the best basketball players in the NBA gather together to play a game. Since the start of last season, the Lakers' biggest roster need has been at center. The signings of Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood in the summer of 2023 were futile as Hayes proved not to be good enough in the role while Wood is permanently injured. They need to put a capable center in the rotation to cut the Lakers' over-reliance on Davis on both ends of the floor. The Western Conference has some tall teams to face. If Davis is solely responsible for blocking them all while being expected to be a 25-plus point scorer, the Lakers will have another early playoff exit on their hands. Vucevic and Kessler formed an imposing partnership in the frontcourt, whether they were on the court together or linked to each other. This gives the Lakers' big man solidity like they've never had before, especially with Davis and Kessler's different skill sets.